everybody, Rick here, Chef on a Budget. I put up today on Facebook asking people what they would like to see rather than me just coming up with ideas. I want to know what you want. So if you've got any requests, just stick them up on my Facebook page and we'll go from there. I'll research them and if I can do it, then I'll do it. I'm sure I can do it, but you know what I mean. Okay, so tonight, after a request I had today, I was already planning this anyway, so this worked out really well. I'm going to make a chicken and wild mushroom risotto. It's very easy. People are scared of risotto, a bit like they're scared of gnocchi. It's not hard, it's just food. So we need to get it out of our heads that this, oh my God, I can't cook this, I can't do that. It's food, people have been doing it for centuries, and I'm just going to show you how to do it, and it's going to be really easy, and you're going to do it, and then you're going to send me photos of your food, and I'm going to post it, and everyone's going to think you're awesome, and etc. So all right, here we go now. I'm going to show you the ingredients. Okay, so here we go. We have approximately 700 grams of arborio rice. Must be arborio rice, no other rice will work. Arborio is lovely and creamy and you need that quality. If you don't use arborio, you don't risotto. We have some baby spinach. I have 4 chicken breasts diced. I would use thigh, but my wife likes breasts. So guess what we're having? We're having breasts. I have a punnet of cherry tomatoes. I have a punnet of shiitake mushrooms and shimiji mushrooms, funky little things. These are shimiji mushrooms. You just tear them apart, and shiitakes you just cut up like normal mushrooms. If you don't want to use wild mushrooms, feel free to substitute with field mushrooms or button mushrooms. I have a few knobs of bocconcini. I have some continental parsley. I was going to use basil as well, it was $6 a bunch, so I wasn't going to buy any basil. I have a diced onion and about 3 cloves of diced garlic. Alright, so let's put it together. Okay, so now we're over at the stove. So I have over here, in the distance over here, I have approximately 2 litres of brown chicken stock that I've made earlier and frozen down. If you don't have chicken stock, use what you got to use. I prefer you didn't use water because obviously a lot of flavour comes from your stock. If you would like to make this stock, look back on my YouTube channel. It's the very first video I ever posted was how to make chicken stock. Okay, so I've got my trusty enamel pan here. I'm going to put in a good splash of olive oil into there. Now the first thing I want to do, if I was using chicken thigh, I wouldn't bother. But because I'm using breasts, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to par cook my chicken breasts first, and then I'm going to take them out because the risotto needs to cook away for quite a while, and if I leave the breast in there, breast dries out very easily, hence why I don't generally like using it for something like this. If I was using thigh, it wouldn't dry out and I would just leave it in there. So hopefully the oil's hot, yep. So as I said, I'm just going to par cook that. No need to season it or anything at the moment. I also like to get a bit of colour on the chicken breast because it definitely gives it a bit more flavour. Okay, so chicken is out and put aside for later. So I'm just going to give it another good splash of extra virgin olive oil in there. To that, I'm going to add straight away my onion and garlic. Give that a little bit of a hit. Right. In with the mushrooms. Give it a good stir. Now we just want to cook them through a little, even though they're going to keep cooking in the stock. I like to cook them through a bit first, especially cook that garlic off. Oh, that smells fantastic. I don't think there's too many better smells in a kitchen other than garlic, onions, and mushrooms in a pan. Okay, the onion's becoming translucent already, which is kind of what you're after. Okay, now to that I'm going to add my laborio rice. Oops, I knocked the camera over. Now this is for 4 people with good amount of leftovers. So there'll probably be enough for at least 2 people to have this tomorrow night. It doesn't, you can freeze it and it doesn't keep great. So don't expect it, it still tastes great, but don't expect it to be as nice as it was when you first had it, when you reheat it the next day. It'll be a little bit gluggy, but it'll still taste damn good. All right, so you want to warm that rice up, because when you warm the rice up, it accepts the chicken stock a lot better, meaning it will absorb a lot of stock quicker and you'll end up using less chicken stock. Okay, so just make sure that rice is totally coated with the oil and warmed through. I'm just going to feel it. Yeah, it's warming up. Okay, now there's a bit of a myth with risotto. People think that you've got to add 1 little ladle full at a time, stir 1 little more. It's not true. What I do is I'm just going to cover the rice, not completely, but as you can see, it's definitely more than a ladle. Okay, and then we drop the temperature quite a bit, because we just want it to simmer. Okay, if you've got some white wine, you can deglaze the bottom of the pan with white wine. If not, stock's fine. And I've just remembered that I do have a little bit of wine there I could have used, but oh well, I'll have a glass with dinner instead. Okay, so we just continue this process. We just keep your eye on it, don't walk away from it, because if that rice sticks to the bottom of the pan, it's going to burn and your risotto is going to be ruined. Okay, but it is all about getting, you still want to have a bit of movement in it. Just turn it up just a smidge. Okay, and we'll just keep going and going. This process can take a good 15-20 minutes to complete. And you can see that that's taking up the stock now. All that stock I poured in is nearly gone. Okay, and don't freak out if you do run a bit short of stock later on. You can always just add, if you're just a little bit short, you can always just add a little bit of water. Okay, so I'm just going to add some more stock. 2 ladles there. Alright, and we'll just keep going and going and going. So those couple of ladlefuls of chicken stock have nearly been absorbed by the rice. You can see the nice dark colour of the chicken stock and the mushrooms, and the deglazing off the bottom of the pan, meaning just taking whatever stuck to the pan when I did the chicken and mushrooms, etc., has been lifted off by the liquid. You can imagine if you didn't use brown stock, it'd just be pale white and boring. I find brown stock gives a much better colour. Okay, so we'll just keep doing this, a couple more ladles. We'll wait for that to absorb. Okay, this is the 3rd time I've had to add the stock. 2 more ladles. I'm looking at how much stock I've got left out of that 2 litres, and I think I'm going to be cutting it a bit fine. But there is a lot of flavour in that chicken stock. So as I said, if we need to add a couple of ladles of water, that's okay. We're just diluting the stock a little, it won't kill it. But we'll see how we go. Okay, so I've been just standing here, just not constantly stirring, but just here and there to make sure it doesn't stick. Now I can tell by the colour of the rice that you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's still very white in the centre, like a dense white, meaning it's not cooked. And I've decided that 2 litres of stock wasn't quite enough. So I've just added another, like, I don't know, maybe a cup and a half of water to my remaining chicken stock. But it's still nice and brown. So I'm just going to add a little bit more stock. Okay, and this is how easy it is. You just keep doing this. Not difficult at all. Righto, still bubbling away here. The rice is becoming more translucent and less tough when you bite it. It's still a little bit firm, which is good. And at this stage, I'm going to introduce back in the chicken breast, and it'll finish cooking out through there. A little bit more stock. Okay, stir it right through. Right, I'm also going to add my cherry tomatoes now, so they soften up a bit. I don't want them to be slop, but I don't want them to be raw. Now the pot's cooled down a bit as I've added this stuff, so I just need to turn the heat up a fraction. Okay, so that's all good there. Now I'm going to turn it up even more because one ingredient I neglected to mention because I had it in the freezer was green peas. You can't have this dish without green peas. So I like quite a few. So there's probably a good cup and a half, cup and a quarter maybe, of green peas. Stir them through. I personally think that frozen green peas are just as good as fresh green peas, unless you're going out in your backyard and picking them directly out of your garden before all the sugars turn to starch. But otherwise, if you're like me, green peas are a fantastic convenience product and cheap. Okay, I'm going to add the rest of my stock now. And I'm hoping that is all I need stock-wise. Looking nice, colourful. And I can feel with my wooden spoon that there's nothing stuck to the bottom. Okay, so keep stirring. It's cooled down just a bit from those frozen peas, which is bound to happen. Tasting good. Okay, I'm just putting in some salt and some pepper. As I always say, season to taste. If you think it needs more salt, put more salt in. If you think it needs more pepper, put some more pepper in. Look at that, nice colours. Lovely. Now this method is the same method for whatever risotto you want to make. You just change the ingredients. If you want to make a salmon risotto, you add the salmon towards the end. Whatever you want to do. You can do a beef risotto and just put a spoonful of the tomato sugo through at the end. If you don't know what that is, go back to my second tutorial on my YouTube channel and have a crack at it. It's easy, cheap, tasty. Okay, just tasting that again. Oh, yum. Those mushrooms give it a fantastic flavour. The shiitakes almost have a mild garlicky kind of flavour to them. Pickles, stop it. None for you. So what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start adding in a little bit at a time my baby spinach. I'm just going to stir that through. A little bit at a time for obvious reasons. If I tried to put it all in at once, it's just going to end up everywhere. Okay, stir it through. And that's just going to wilt down quite fast. I'm adding it at the end because if I put it at the beginning, you wouldn't even know that there was spinach in here, it'd just disintegrate. So you just fold it through towards the end. The rest can go in. And at this point, I'm just going to throw in my bocconcini cheese, baby mozzarella. Stir it through quickly. That's just going to give that lovely stretchy effect. Doesn't add a great deal in the way of flavour. It'll make it nice and stretchy. You don't want to add too much. Okay. I do believe we are ready to serve. Okay, so I've just moved this over for serving now. So to finish it off, just give a couple of nice big ladlefuls. Oh, and that bit of chicken on top. There's a portion there. So I'm just going to top with a generous amount of Parmesan cheese. Some chopped parsley. And there you have it. Chicken and wild mushroom risotto. Works out to be about $3.70 a portion. You could make it even cheaper if you didn't want to use the wild mushrooms. If you just wanted to use normal button mushrooms, that'd make it a little bit cheaper, but I mean for $3.70 a portion, just use the wild mushrooms. You won't regret it. Okay, so there we have it. I'll see you next time. Chef on a budget.